Hey, what it do, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again for the one time. Hey, it looks like the Dallas Cowboys are finally, after years of, and we'll go into that throughout this video, but they're finally establishing a new identity, which is what I've been trying to, hoping that they do for the longest time, right? I know this fan base, and I know most of you guys, I want to say probably 90% of you guys that follow this channel and every other Dallas Cowboy YouTuber out there, been dealing with this narrative of the Dallas Cowboys of mediocrity, right? We've gone through this level of mediocrity since we last won a Super Bowl in '95. What was that, 28 years at this point? I will say this. We got to get out of that Jason Garrett mindset because, again, he was a coach for a whole decade. And I think because of that, we have this narrative in our head of, woe is me, we're not going to be anything, we're not going to do this, I believe it when I see it type of mentality. That's what we have right now as fans. And I completely understand it. I do. I completely understand it. One thing I will say to you, though, is let's start to shift our mindset, because one thing that they did this offseason was very different than what we've seen them do in the past. One, you traded for Stephon Gilmore. You traded for Brandon Cooks. Those are two things that we probably would never see. They were big time in free agency this offseason. When the last time they did that? Sorry, I have to adjust my camera. When the last time they did that? When? Then in the draft, they go and get Mozzie Smith, a big-ass defensive tackle. Last time they drafted a defensive tackle was Russell Maryland. It was a long time ago. It's an identity change. Now, before I get more deep into this, I just wanted to give a shout out to my fellow Dallas Cowboy YouTubers out there. Been doing work for years of worth of work, man. And I'm telling you, like, everything just seems like I think Vash might have mentioned this, but shout out to Vash Lombardi, man. These guys are doing excellent work, man. Like, for me, you know, having a regular job every day, it's kind of hard for me to get on schedule. And y'all already know my situation. I'm still trying to get my life together. You know, I'm trying to get my own place again. It's hard for me to live stream because I don't have my own, like, specific place to do it where there's no background noise or no interference. I'm trying to make it as professional as possible. That's why you see me do videos in my car all the time, because I don't really have a safe space to do it right now. But, you know, as things get better, I think that I will have a man cave again and things will get back to the way they were, and even better. Now, shout out to the top Dallas Cowboy YouTubers like Vash Lombardi, Scott Walker Steele, man. These guys are getting it done. He's getting it done on A to Z, living his life, getting paid to do this. Like, this is amazing for him. Like, I just texted Will the other day, and I told him how proud I was of him and how happy I am, and, you know, how blessed he is to get to where he is right now. And though those guys are humble, they need a lot of respect because they are getting it done. I know there are good YouTubers for other teams, like the Green Bay Packers. They got a guy, keep forgetting his name, but I follow him as well. He's a really good dude. The Giants, they got YouTubers. The Washington Commanders got YouTubers. The Eagles got YouTubers. The Philly 500 leading that brigade. But there's nothing like Dallas Cowboy YouTubers. It's to the point where we get hated on. Well, not necessarily me. They don't know me. I'm little time compared to these other guys. That our top Dallas Cowboy YouTubers are always hated on by the actual media that works for Dallas Cowboys, because they try to say that, oh, well, we're copying off of people's content. No, we're just taking information and we're putting it into our own words. That's basically what we're doing. So it's still original content. Believe that. I mean, but you look at the guys like Vash Lombardi and Skywalker Still and Law Nation and the Okoye Media. Those guys are the top guys. Those are the ones that actually are getting interviews with actual players and actual people that work for the Dallas Cowboys. Like Still he's been doing work with Patrick No C Walker. I would love to interview that guy, but again, these guys have the avenues to do that. And now, but then you look at the second tier guys, like the lower tier guys, like my man DMV, Cowboys Blog, my man Rome, Space Cowboy, My Cowboys Family, and then you got me. Like, I would say I'm probably like the lowest of the lowest, I guess, because I don't put out enough content as everybody else, and I get that, and y'all already know it's because of my situation. But if things were better for me, I would be able to do more, but unfortunately right now I can't. But enough about me, back to the Dallas Cowboys. So as I was saying, the Dallas Cowboys, now they are with this new offense. Now that Mike McCarthy is taking over the reins. Now let's go back for a second. We talked about the whole Kellen Moore thing and the Jason Garrett era, right? Jason Garrett era is over. We dealt with a decade of that, and I just felt like we were snake bitten by that mediocrity, all those 8-8 seasons and this and that. Well, you'll never have an 8-8 season now because we have one more game, so you would be 8-7 if that was the case. But since Mike McCarthy has gotten here, we've gotten progressively better. Now, I don't fault Mike McCarthy for the first or second year here he was here, mainly because of the fact that those were like the COVID years. But we did go 12-5. Twice. So, can we do it again? I just want to reiterate the fact that, yes, Dak Prescott had a down year. And everybody is like literally crushing dude for all the interceptions that he threw. But forget that his rookie year and the years prior to that, he was one of the lowest in throwing interceptions. So how can you say a guy is a serial interception thrower and he really only had one bad year of doing that? I believe every quarterback would have a down year, by way of injury, bad coaching, whatever the situation is, right? And I don't make excuses for nobody. You know why? Because I don't know Dak Prescott personally. So I have no problem criticizing him for what his wrongdoings is. And I will do that at any time. I just feel like this team, for years, we've had talent on this team to win Super Bowls, even during the Tony Romo era. I feel like under Jason Garrett, Jason Garrett is a great guy, don't get me wrong, but he's one of those coaches that can get you there, but he can't get you there, right? He can get you to the playoffs, but once you get into the playoffs, you're playing against teams that are really understanding your tendencies and stuff like that. So if you're a coach that shows your tendencies very well, it's not going to be good for you. So with Jason Garrett, in that lame duck offense, it's very conservative, right? He's a conservative coach. He's not a guy that's going to step out the pocket and do different things to make things live, right? That's a very rarity of him. When he left, Kellen Moore was still calling the plays. I know when Mike McCarthy got here, Jerry Jones told him, hey, I want Boy Wonder to call the plays. Okay, Mike McCarthy had nothing to do with that. So Mike McCarthy really didn't have a grasp of the offense or be able to install his own things until now this offseason. So you're going to see a lot of different things transpiring this offseason going into the season. We are now done with OTAs. We are now done with minicamp. Now we're going through this dry phase of, okay, what are we going to do until training camp? Dallas Cowboys report to training camp in late July. It's always right before my birthday, and then they're in training camp on my birthday. I would love to go to Oxnard on my birthday one year. When I tell you, when I get shit together, y'all gonna see a lot of me. But things happen, and I know a lot of you guys are going through stuff too, so I get it. To be continued on that. Now, with that being said, I really think that the excitement that Mike McCarthy has now of getting ready to call plays. He went and got Brian Schottenheimer to be the offensive coordinator, but he's not calling plays, but he's still helping the installs and helping Dak Prescott with the new things that they're bringing. They mentioned that it was 30-40% change in the offense. I think the main things are going to stay the same are some plays that worked very well last year, and the verbiage with Dak Prescott, right? Because every quarterback has their verbiage, right? So they're going to keep the verbiage with Dak, but him and Mike McCarthy, with the help of Brian Schottenheimer, they're doing different things. We're scrapping that playbook that we had with, because we were still running the Jason Garrett, Kellen Moore offense, because Kellen Moore is under the coaching tree of Jason Garrett. Now, I like Kellen Moore, I do. I just don't think that Kellen Moore was a good coordinator for Dak Prescott, because again, they were teammates at one point in time. They were competing against each other for one time. They're peers. It's hard to learn from somebody, or somebody being your teacher that's your peer, or somebody that was once on your level, because you're not going to really listen to a lot of things that they have to say. Another thing is Kellen Moore's inexperienced. He's still learning. I think that he's going to be a great offensive coordinator going forward, but I just think he had a lot to learn, right? And I don't think that the Dallas Cowboys was a place for him to learn. I think that now that he has a fresh start with the Chargers, he's going to be a much better coordinator in the future. He just has to not be so, because Kellen Moore had a lot of tricks in the bag, right? But once he used up all the tricks, he didn't know how to switch things up, right? To make it look less predictable to defenses. Defenses knew exactly what we were going to run, when we were going to run it, how we were going to run it. So to change that narrative, what you have to do is you ever seen a situation where guys talk about, gentlemen, all you need to buy is five suit jackets, right? You buy 5 suit jackets with bottoms, and you can coordinate them and switch them up in different ways where they look like totally different outfits with different dress shirts underneath of them. You're just switching up the colors to make it look like you got a whole different suit set. That's how you do it. You mixing tops and bottoms, you mixing dress shirts and all that. So that's what we're doing now going forward. We're switching things up, being less predictable, and changing to a West Coast offense. Or, as Dak Prescott said, Texas Coast offense. Now, he should have said Tex Coast, like West Coast, but Tex Coast. Should be Tex Coast. Because when you say Texas Coast, it sounds like Texas toast. And although Texas toast is delicious, we don't want our offense to be Texas Coast toast. See, it's a tongue twister. Say that shit 5 times fast. Blah, 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 bow. So, with that being said, I like what they're doing going forward. I like the addition of Brandon Cooks in this offense. Definitely going to help with CeeDee Lamb stepping up. Brandon Cooks coming in there with his speed. Michael Gallup being actually 100% healthy now, so that should help. Let's see what Tober can do. Let's see what Simi Fehoko could do, because they've been saying Simi has stepped up too. So if Simi can move into that Cedric Wilson spot that we lost when Cedric Wilson left, if he can be what Cedric Wilson was, we'll be fine. We'll be fine on offense. Those are the question marks. And then with the running back thing, everybody was talking about, should we bring Zeke back? But I really think the Dallas Cowboys are trying to see what they have with these young guys first. They're trying to see what they have with Deuce Vaughn. They're trying to see what they have with Ronald Jones, or as guys like to call him, Rojo. We're trying to see what we have in Rico Dowdle, and I was about to say Gathers. Y'all remember Rico Gathers? Jason Garrett messed his career up. He just disappeared. He ain't even in the league anymore. He should have stayed with basketball. He should have, but whatever. And of course, let's not forget Malik Davis. So they're trying to see what they have with these young guys to see who's going to jock for position to get into the starting lineup. We know what Tony Pollard is. They're just going to rest him for the most part in the offseason because you coming back from that leg injury. You don't want to have any prolonged issues with that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm happy to see the Dallas Cowboys are basically saying to teams, we are no longer going to let you dictate what we do on offense. Because what was the biggest thing we did with Jason Garrett's era? Oh, well, we're going to take what the defense gives us, and we're just going to, granted, I know that we were number 1, number 2 in offense and all that stuff and scoring offense and 40 burgers. Yes, that's cute in the regular season, but it doesn't get you anywhere in the playoffs, because once you get to the playoffs, these teams are strapping down and they're looking at your tendencies more than they're doing in the regular season. So you have to be able to switch things up. And that's one thing we weren't doing, and that's what they're trying to do now. And I'm happy about that, and I hope that that will get us over that hump and get us into the NFC title game. Now, one last thing. The fact that we're no longer dictating what the defense is doing, we're going to be aggressive on offense and tell you what we're going to do, and say that, hey, stop what we're doing. I love that mentality. I love it. I clapped about it when it came out, and I said that's what we need to win. That is the winning recipe. That is the difference between our mentality from the Jason Garrett era now into the new Mike McCarthy era. So let me know what you guys think in the comment box. I know we played the Chargers early in the season. I know that Kellen Moore is gonna call a good game, because, like I said, I got a lot of respect for Kellen Moore. I just think that he just grew out of the Dallas Cowboys. He just needs to be on a team where he can grow. So with that being said, man, let me know what y'all think in the comment box. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. It's your boy YouTube Blue. Always keeping it real. Talk to y'all soon.